All right, today we're going to talk about when to change your line on your rods and reels. That's right, I got my readers on today because we're going to look at the line, kind of go over some tips on helping your line last longer, and we'll kind of show you a few different things. So we'll start with fluorocarbon. Now I fish fluorocarbon probably, if I'm fishing a straight line, fluoro versus mono, I'm gonna fish fluoro probably 99% of the time. So you're just gonna have a standard Baitcaster here. Standard Baitcaster. The first thing I'm gonna show you is that I get little line labels and put them on my rods because I've got a whole bunch of rods. Whether you have 30 or you have 6 or you have 2, it's hard to remember exactly when you changed the line and what you changed it to. So, I put the little labels on there, like this is 2-1-23, SH is shooter, and 14. So I know when I changed the line on that particular reel that's on that rod. So I know this is 14 pound and it was changed on February 1st. It's June now. Probably going to be getting ready close to be able to change this, but I just used this in a tournament earlier this month. So you don't have to change, by like 3 months or 6 months or whatever. That's the one thing you want to keep in mind, but it helps to know what it is and when you change it. So there's a couple ways. So if you have your line here and you pull that line off of the reel, you can see that it's gonna be a little coily. It's gonna coil just up a little bit, and that's what happens when fluorocarbon sits on your reel for a period of time. Well, what I'm gonna do is just pull it out a little bit. Once you see there's like a slight bit of tension, the coiling is minimal, so that's good. That's good. We're okay there. I don't see any problems. But what the thing you need to look at on your line is that here's the business end down here. You can take and run your hand just up and down this line and feel if it's smooth or it's not smooth. And I can feel there's little blemishes. There's a couple little kind of weird rough spots. It's probably time to change this fluorocarbon. That's one of the things that I do. The date shows me it's a little bit older. Then it's hard to remember exactly how much I fished this one particular reel. So I'm just running my hand up it. And sometimes if you don't have the ability to change your line, or you haven't yet, see, once I get past, I'm gonna just keep going up the line, and now it gets smooth. So I'm gonna just feel that line down to where it starts to get a little crinkly, starts to get a little rough from all the fishing, and I might cut right here and retie. But I'm gonna do that. Now it's smooth from here up. That might have been the part in the reel, but I know that part is smooth. And the other time you wanna look at your spool. And then you can see there's a little lip right there between the line and the spool. Once that little lip right there gets to be more than about 1/8 of an inch, I'm gonna go ahead and reline. If I'm gonna fill it almost all the way up to that lip, not over, but right up to that lip when I first respool. But then on the, as I'm fishing it, I'm gonna retie numerous times. I might pull off that rough part of the line, and then I'm gonna respool when I get about 1/8 of an inch. Now, I'll just go ahead and pull off enough line to kind of show you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna get down a little bit more maybe, but that's about where I would reline it. You can see there's a little gap there on that lip. That's where I'm gonna reline. That's where I'm gonna reline. And I'm gonna do so because when you make a really long cast, you're not gonna have that much line left on your reel. And then you're also gonna change really the gear ratio. This is a 8 to 5, but if you have you know, half as much line on your reel, you have half as much on there, that all of a sudden you got a lower gear ratio reel. So you might be needing a high gear ratio reel, but since you only have like half a spool of line, you're actually down to like 6-to-1 gear ratio. So you might be fishing a fluke or, you know, a Texas rig worm, and you need to be able to gather up a lot of line real quick, and that's not gonna cut it. So one last thing on the bait cast, it's really important on fluorocarbon to do this last little trick here. I've talked about it before, but I'm gonna mention it again and again and again. You know, whether you have micro guides, regular guides, either way, you can either take a paper towel, which is what this is for, and wet it. If you're gonna wet it, I like wetting it with some kind of line conditioner. KVD line conditioner works good, but I'm gonna wet a little spot on a paper towel, or even better, a microfiber towel. And then on the front side of your guides, if you look right on the front sides, they're gonna be dirty. So you can take that line conditioner and the paper towel or the microfiber towel and wipe the front of all of your guides, so they become clean, and they get a little bit of that slickness when that line conditioner dries. So you get kind of a double whammy there. I don't like to use any kind of detergent, you know, degreaser, cleaner, any of that kind of stuff on my rods. I want either just water or a line conditioner to be on my guides, so that cleaning up your guides also helps your line last longer. So that's when I'm going to change the fluorocarbon. Mono is really kind of the same way. I just don't fish straight mono on a Baitcaster basically anymore. So that's kind of what I do when I'm wanting to put the fluorocarbon on there. Just so you guys know, there's a difference between, this is just a common general question on sunline, shooter and sniper. Sniper is a little more supple, more for reaction and moving baits, not when I'm going to be jacking hook sets. Shooter is really the top end of all fluorocarbons, period. A little more abrasion resistant, not quite as supple as the sniper. A little, you know, pound for pound, a little bit bigger diameter than the sniper. So it's a little smaller diameter, a little bigger diameter. I'm going to use the shooter for anytime I'm flipping, pitching, Carolina rigging, fluking, anything where I'm going to be setting the wood on a hook set, shooter. And then the sniper is more for casting, crankbaits, spinner baits, shatter baits, that kind of stuff. But you can use shooter for anything. If you just want to do one line and be done with it, shooter is the best line, period, hands down. Sniper, amazing all-around line, but not made for that shock for setting the hook. I know a lot of guys that flip with it and they have a good experience, but that's that. So next up, we're going to talk about braid on a Baitcaster. Now, as you can see, this is fresh braid. This is Sunline X Plasma, and it's got the green coloration, and it's still very dark green. The coloration doesn't always dictate whether the line is still good or not. And with braid, some of it has to do with feel. Now, I still do the little label right there so I can tell what it is. See, it's X30, and it's February 1st. I did a lot of relining on February 1st, apparently. So that one, same deal though. You want to make sure your guides stay clean. I think braid, since it's textury, the dirt will get on that line easier, and then it makes your guides dirtier. So with braid, you probably need to clean those guides even more so than with fluorocarbon. And then the other part is, you know, when that braid gets down a little bit lower, just like with the fluoro that I showed you, same deal. That's basically when I'm going to reline braid. It's when that gap gets in there to where I've retied a number of times. I've pulled off some extra ends. I'm going to have that on there. So then next is we've got the Baitcaster, and this is 16-pound Sunline X Plasma, and as you can see, this started out the same color as this. So this started out really dark, and now it's lighter. And this is dark, and it's still dark. But with the spinning reels, I found that the line discolors quicker, but man, braid lasts a long time. And that's one of the great benefits of braid, whether you're gonna go, like on this wacky rig, I was using straight braid, whether you have straight braid or you have a leader on there, that braid is, I mean, even somebody that fishes a lot, you can fish that braid at least a full year. If you're OCD about it and you don't like your line coloration changing, you might have the bright color line. If you have that bright color line, the yellow or the green, I mean, that green will become white. Just like this green, this dark green becomes white once this is worn on there. But I'm telling you, I have fished X Plasma with 12-pound when it's almost completely white, and there is no strength issues, no problems, no knot tying issues, no nothing with that. It's just the coloration just comes out of the line over time. So with braid, it really, to me, it's when I want to change sizes or when I've used up a bunch of it and I'm getting down to where there's not as much. That's the basic difference on the braid. Now, like I said, with mono, I don't fish mono on a Baitcaster. I just use a braid to any type of leader, whether it's mono or fluoro. And on that fluoro leader, I do that same, I just feel that leader. If that leader feels smooth, you're good to go. If you can feel any blemishes, any little dents, hiccups, scratches, rough spots, any of that kind of stuff, put a new leader on there with your on your spinning reel, and you'll be good to go. It'll be fresh and good as new. I always tie a 20 to 24 foot roughly leader on my spinning reels. I do that for a reason. That's just, if anybody's going to ask that question, that's when I do. But that is basically the bottom line on when I put new line on a reel. So I've got over 30 rods and reels. Hard to keep up with it, but again, use your little labels on there, and then use those tips I just gave you, and you will know when to change your line.